morning, Brandon. How are you?
Oh, hey, it's you. Must be my lucky day, huh? I get the grace of your presence in an execution in the afternoon. So how am I feeling? How am I feeling? Good, I suppose. Considering the fact that I'm locked up in the shithole for 23 hours a day and with the inevitable execution hanging over me. But in answer to your question, yeah, I'm good. So what brings you here today then?
You never fail to ask the same question.
Hmm.
I want you to tell us whatever's on your mind today, Brandon.
Okay. The first thing that you feel when you get here is just like, it feels like you've fallen off the edge of the world. That's what it feels like when those iron doors close behind you. You know, my life is over, but yet somehow I'm still breathing. The only thing keeping count are those final little beats going down. And things in here now just start mimicking my childhood of celerity, you know, just like the rusty toilet bowl, the glare of the sunshine on my face. And I can feel it, you know, burning the little pale patches on my face. It's kind of like what I imagine it would be for a man who's buried alive, you know, breathing his last breath, and even though he knows they're going to be his last.
What was it like when you first got here?
When I first got here, it was alright. It was a learning curve more than anything. One of the first things you learn to appreciate is how truly special just the small things are. Like a simple little letter, a 10-minute conversation, smoking a cigarette. But those things are hard to come by now, and you get the saving grace of just 1 hour a day outside in the sunshine. And you get to really, truly savor just how beautiful the world is. And then you find that all the years pass you by and you learn how to say goodbye to a really good friend you're making here.
Tell me about your childhood.
Okay, well, I was born in London and moved to America when I was a young man. We were travellers. I spent a lot of time on the road, going from coast to coast. My mum met a new fella, and that's when a whole new life of adventure started for us. We settled down, bought a house, and things were great. Things changed when my mother realised that my stepfather was an alcoholic. I wouldn't say I've had a happy life, not at all, but if I had to pick the happiest moment of it, it would be that summer because everything was just perfect. When I was 12, I'd go through all these stages of thinking about committing suicide. And I remember there was a time that I filled the bathtub completely full of water and just pictured myself submerging underneath it. You know, all I wanted was just a peaceful way out. But I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all for me being in here. Anyone who uses their crime as some sort of excuse or just some sort of trauma that they blame it on, like childhood abuse or anything, they're just kidding themselves. Because that's all it is at the end of the day, it's just an excuse. There was one time that I came home from school and I could see that my mum had been weeping all day. And as soon as she saw me walk through the door, she started crying again, and then he stepped out. He'd just been waiting for me to come home, and he just hit her. And I just stood there in the doorway with my hand over my mouth, shaking, scared. It's a scared, stupid little boy. I think I even pissed my pants, you know. And he would beat my sister. He would rape my mother. And I did nothing to stop it. I could have run and got help, but no, I just chose to run away instead. And I never came back. I read a few months later that my sister had killed herself. I could have saved her.
What happened that night?
Well, I was walking home and I passed this block of apartments, and there was a guy moving in, and I couldn't fucking believe my eyes. It was him. It was my fucking stepfather. I never knew what happened to him after my sister killed herself, but there he was. And I just stood there, frozen. It was like my body went numb and something just took over me, possessed me. And the next thing I knew, I was standing in the stairwell of the apartment block with a pistol in my hand, just waiting for him. You should have seen his face when he saw me, when he came up that flight of stairs and he saw me. We just froze, both of us, staring at each other. He said, "Hello, Brennan. Fancy seeing you here. Now what you gonna do with that?" Everything that I wanted to tell him, everything I wanted to do, just left my mind. And he continued talking to me. He said,
"Brandon, I'm sorry for what happened, please. Now, I know me saying sorry ain't gonna change what happened, but I got some money."
And bang. The gun went off. I didn't hear it. I don't even remember pulling the trigger. It was like I wasn't even there. But then all of a sudden, I was a child again. And I was happy. And he just fell.
Do you still see your mom?
I'll see you today, though. I'm sure. I know that. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw her, you know? It's funny, when you first get here, people tell you that you've got plenty of time. But honestly, I've never felt more limited. They told me They told me what date my execution was going to be 6 weeks ago. And that is such a weird feeling, knowing the exact day and time that you're going to die. I wonder if the Lord will pity me. No. No, why would he? I mean, I could offer him all of my love, beg him for forgiveness, but I don't deserve any of it. My sins are my own. I just wish I never caused so much harm to my mum. This is my last conversation. These are my last hours. I'm going to die today. I'm going to die today. Let me ask you something. Are you going to remember my face when all this is over? Huh? I'm not afraid of dying. I'm only afraid of the whole process. Afraid of saying goodbye to my mum. They'll ask me, do I have any last words? And I'll just say, I'm sorry. And then I'll look over at my mum and just see the disappointment in her face. And you know what? There's nothing more painful than that. Nothing. Then I'll speak to God and I'll say, I'm sorry for disrupting your world. But I won't say I'm sorry to the society. No. No, not to that society that stood idly by and watched as my stepfather beat the shit out of me, beat the shit out of my mum, beat the shit out of my sister, and was too cowardly to do anything about it. But oh no, they can point their little finger at me and say, kill him! Tonight I'm going to be free again. I'm going to be that little child. And I'm going to live the way that happy families are meant to. I love you, sis, and I'll see you soon. I love you, Mum. And I'm going to miss you so much.